The wound is the place where the light enters you. Sometimes life feels heavy enough to break us. We reach a point where we're down on our knees, wondering if we'll ever rise again. We feel shattered, defeated, and unsure whether there is a way forward. But what we often forget in those moments is that breakage is not the end. It's a turning point. It's the moment we become a new version of ourselves, forged by fire, refined by pressure, made strong by adversity. When life breaks you, it's not a punishment. It's a transformation. It's a chance to let the weak parts fall away and make room for something greater. Because every crack is a doorway for the light to seep, in a chance for healing, renewal, and eventual rebirth. So today let's talk about what happens when life breaks you, and how you can use that moment to become more powerful, more resilient, and more alive than you ever thought possible. Embrace your fragility, it is your strength. Sometimes we think we must be strong all the time. We think we must mask our struggles, pretend we're fine, or carry our heavy hearts in silence. But there's a hidden magic in embracing vulnerability. There's power in allowing ourselves to break and become real. Because when we break, we let the light seep in through the cracks. We become porous to renewal, transformation, and healing. We become human in a way we hadn't been before. When you embrace your fragility, you enable yourself to grow from within. The moment you let down your defenses, you create space for authenticity. This authenticity resonates not just with yourself, but with those you care about. Because when you show your raw struggles, you enable them to connect, to feel less alone, to realize their own struggles are not shameful or weak. Your tears carry stories that words cannot tell. Each drop falls as a testimony to your ability to feel, to care, and to remain alive. Because the moment you care is the moment you grow. The moment you break is the moment you become real. The moment you become real is the moment you become strong. Your struggles do not define your worth. Instead, they illuminate your ability to endure. Inside you lies a softness, a tenderness that forms the roots of your eventual renewal. The softness lets you appreciate life in its pure form, without ego, without defenses, without masks. The softness lets you appreciate love in its entirety. Some people view vulnerability as weakness, but you know that vulnerability is pure courage. It shows that you care, that you're engaged in the messiness of life, that you're not afraid to be vulnerable in a world obsessed with control. This kind of vulnerability forms a powerful bond between you and others, a bond forged by understanding, compassion, and authenticity. When you break, you let the pressure ease, and your soul finds room to grow. Healing cannot happen while we remain rigid. We must break to let renewal seep into us. We must break to appreciate the value of putting ourselves back together. We must break to realize we are more than the sum of our struggles. Your vulnerabilities become your greatest stories. Stories of transformation, stories of hope, stories of renewal. Because there is something profoundly strong in choosing to be vulnerable, in choosing to trust, in choosing to feel. This is where your true power lies, in honoring your own experience without shame or resistance. Let your fragility become your greatest asset. Let it enable you to connect more profoundly with your own heart. Let it foster compassion for yourself and for those around you. Let it break down the walls that kept you isolated. And let it become a doorway to understanding. Because you grow through understanding yourself, understanding your struggles, understanding the struggles of others. Your breaking signals the growing process. The moment a seed splits its casing, a new root emerges, a new sprout reaches upward toward the light. So do not fear the break. Embrace it. Because within that break, there is renewal. Inside every moment of weakness lies a kernel of immense strength. Inside every moment of chaos lies the opportunity for transformation. Inside you, there is something much greater waiting to come forward. Transform your pain into your purpose. Sometimes the greatest turning points in your life come from your deepest struggles. The moment you break is the moment you discover the purpose that lies within you. Because within your pain, there's a message. Inside your struggles, there's a mission. Inside your disappointments, There's a calling, the kind of calling that guides you towards something greater, something more profound, something much more purposeful. Your suffering is not without meaning. It's not something that just happened to destroy you. It's something that happened to unveil a side of you you hadn't met yet, a side forged by pressure, sculpted by tragedy, refined by patience. This side holds your greatest potential for transformation. When you transform your pain into your purpose, you become a beacon for others. Because there are many people battling quietly, wondering if there's a way forward. Your struggles become a roadmap for their healing. Your disappointments become a powerful testimony to their eventual breakthrough. Your tears become the rain that brings renewal to someone else's barren garden. This process doesn't erase your struggles, instead, it redeems them. It shows you how much you can grow and become. Because when you move forward with an understanding that there's a greater purpose for your struggles, you enable yourself to become more than just a victim. You become a warrior, a healer, a guide. Your greatest disappointments become your greatest messages. The moment you choose to transform them, you realize that there's something much bigger at work in your life. This understanding ignites a passion within you, a passion to make a difference, to ease someone's suffering, to illuminate their path forward. Turning your pain into your purpose means honoring both your struggles and your ability to grow through them. It means trusting that there's a purpose for your tears, for your doubts, for your disappointments. It means choosing to let your struggles become a powerful tool for transformation for yourself and for the world. Some people become bitter after their struggles, but you become better. Some people become defeated, but you become empowered. Some people lose their way, but you find a new path. Because within you lies the ability to redeem your struggles, turning them into something constructive, something healing, something purposeful. This process cannot be rushed. Healing and transformation take time, patience, compassion, and understanding. But every step forward brings you closer to a new version of yourself, a version forged by fire, a version forged by your struggles, a version destined for something greater. Your struggles do not define you. Instead, they prepare you. They prepare you for the moment when you can lift someone else up. They prepare you for the moment when you can say, I made it through and you can too. Because when you transform your pain into your purpose, you become a light for those stranded in the dark. This transformation is not something you do once and for all. It's something you do every day, choosing healing over resentment, choosing renewal over regret, choosing compassion over bitterness. This process helps you grow, piece by piece, until you become someone you hadn't even recognized previously, someone filled with power, peace, and understanding. When you view your struggles through this new perspective, you realize there's a greater story at play. A story that involves not just your own healing, but the healing of many. Because your transformation resonates far and wide, touching hearts, igniting hope, and spreading renewal. The moment you redeem your struggles, you redeem not just your own future, but the futures of countless others. So let your struggles become your greatest blessing. Let your disappointments become your greatest opportunity. Let your pain become your purpose. Because within you, there's something much greater waiting to emerge, something forged by pressure, something destined for transformation, something meant to illuminate the world. Dare to rise from the rubble. Sometimes you feel stranded in the ashes of your own struggles. The moment everything falls down and there's no clear path forward, that's when you discover your ability to rise. Because when you rise, you become something greater than you were before. Forged by pressure, forged by chaos, forged by tragedy. Rising is not a simple process. It's a profound transformation, a transformation that occurs deep within your soul. When you choose to rise from the rubble, you make a powerful affirmation that you will not be defeated by your struggles, because you realize you are not what happened to you, you are what you become after. Rising is a testimony to your ability to grow, adapt, heal, and move forward. Every step forward feels heavy at first. Your knees may tremble, your heart may falter, your mind may doubt, but with each step you grow a little taller, a little wiser, a little braver. Rising is a process that cannot be rushed or forced, a process that emerges naturally as you gather your strength. Some people stay down because it's comfortable there, it's familiar. Rising means letting go of that familiarity and embracing something new, something unknown. Rising means trusting yourself even when you're unsure of the way forward. Rising means choosing hope over fear, choosing renewal over chaos, choosing peace over resentment. When you rise, you break free from your own chains, the chains made by your struggles, your doubts, your disappointments, all falling away as you grow. This process sets you free. It lets you become the person you were meant to be, the person you always had the potential to become. Rising is not a solitary process. Rising resonates across the lives of those you care about. Because when you become a symbol of renewal, you illuminate the path for someone else to follow. You show them that healing is possible, that transformation is within reach. This is why you must rise, not just for yourself, but for the people who will be encouraged by your renewal. Because your greatest struggles can become your greatest testimony, your greatest triumph, your greatest opportunity to make a profound difference in the world. Rising means turning your weaknesses into your greatest strengths. Rising means honoring your struggles by growing from them instead of being defeated by them. Rising means trusting that there's something greater awaiting you, something forged by your perseverance and forged by your ability to grow. This transformation cannot be forced, it must be lived. Each moment you break, each moment you grow, each moment you become more, that's the process of rising. Rising is not a moment in time, it's a way of life. It's choosing to move forward when you feel stranded, choosing renewal when everything feels barren. When you rise, you become a symbol of hope, a symbol of renewal, a symbol of transformation. Your struggles become a powerful thread woven into your greatest stories, stories that inspire, heal, empower, and transform. Rising is not the rejection of your struggles. It's the affirmation that you can grow through them. This process will redefine your future. This process will enable you to become something greater, something more, something that resonates far beyond your own imagination. Rising means honoring your struggles by turning them into your greatest triumphs, one step at a time, with patience, compassion, understanding, and deep, unyielding resolve. So when you break, remember you are meant to rise. Rising is your birthright. Rising is your affirmation. Rising is your transformation. Rising is your path forward into a future filled with renewal, peace, happiness, and healing, a future forged by your struggles, a future that glows with the light you carry within. Rewrite your story with courage. When you break, when you fall, when everything you believed in feels distant, you discover something you hadn't noticed before, the power to rewrite your own story. Because your story is not finished, your chapters are not closed, your pen is still in your hand. This is your moment to become the author of your own future, choosing to be more than your struggles, choosing to become something greater. Rewriting your story means honoring your past while freeing yourself from it. It means turning the page and starting a new chapter. This new chapter isn't defined by your disappointments or by your doubts. Instead, it's forged by your resilience, your compassion, your understanding, your ability to grow. This is a process that happens quietly within you, a process of transformation, a process of renewal. Sometimes we think we're powerless to change our stories, that we're bound by fate, by ancestry, by our struggles. But when you rewrite your story, you break free from those chains. You realize you are not a victim of your past, you are a creator of your future. This understanding lets you take back your power and move forward with confidence. Every word you write today, every choice you make, every step you take adds a new sentence, a new paragraph, a new chapter. This is your opportunity to redefine your character, to grow from your struggles, to become someone you hadn't previously been. This is your moment to illuminate your path forward with compassion, understanding, and renewal. Some chapters may be filled with tragedy and chaos, but even then, there's a moment when the turning point comes, when you realize you can redeem your struggles. This moment is not a moment for blame or resentment. Instead, it's a moment for transformation, a moment for healing, a moment for rewriting your future. Because you are not finished. Because there's more to come. When you rewrite your story, you become the narrator. You control the dialogue, the plot, the character arc. This understanding brings immense peace and power. Because when you realize you are not a side character, but the main character of your own story, everything starts to align with your highest purpose. This process involves patience. It involves reflection. It involves honoring your struggles while turning them into something greater. Because each scar forms a word in your new story, a word filled with compassion, understanding, renewal, and peace. Rewriting your story lets you redeem the chapters you thought were unredeemable. It lets you grow from your struggles instead of shrinking from them. It lets you become someone you hadn't previously believed you could be. Because renewal is not a dramatic moment, it's a process made up of many small choices. When you realize you are the author of your own future, you become a co-creator alongside your struggles. The chaos, the doubts, the disappointments, all of these become raw material for your transformation. All these become the stones you can use to construct something strong, something purposeful. Some people let their struggles define their stories, but you choose to let your struggles redefine you. Because within your struggles lie the greatest opportunity for transformation, the greatest opportunity for renewal, the greatest opportunity to become more than you ever thought you could be. This process cannot be rushed or forced. It evolves naturally, slowly, gracefully as you grow and transform. Each new decision, each new step forward, each new moment of healing brings you closer to the person you truly are, the person you were meant to become. Rewriting your story lets you redeem your past, honoring its lessons while turning toward a future filled with peace, compassion, understanding, renewal, and transformation. It lets you become someone who stands up after every fall, someone who finds renewal in every tragedy, someone who can illuminate the path forward for others. When you rewrite your story, you become more resilient, more compassionate, more understanding, more yourself. Because you realize you do not break without growing. You do not suffer without healing. You do not transform without renewal. This is your moment. This is your process. This is your renewal. This is your future. Healing is possible, and so is happiness. Sometimes we think we will carry our struggles forever, that we will remain wounded, incomplete, and heavy with our past. But healing is not a fantasy. Healing is a process that slowly, piece by piece, restores us, making us whole, making us strong, making us more ourselves than we've ever been before. Healing is not about erasing our stories. Healing is about honoring them. When you allow healing to seep into your soul, you create space for happiness. Because healing lets you release the bitterness, the resentment, the shame, and the guilt that have kept you stranded. Healing lets you move forward with peace, with renewal, with understanding. Healing lets you appreciate life's finest details, the softness of a sunset, the warmth of a kind word, the magic in a new opportunity. Some people believe healing means we will forget what happened. But healing is not about forgetfulness, it's about transformation. It's about turning our greatest struggles into our greatest stories of renewal. Healing lets us carry forward the lessons we've learned without letting them weigh us down. When you heal, you become a powerful affirmation for those who are still battling their own struggles. Because your healing shows them that renewal is possible, that peace is within reach, that happiness can flourish even after immense tragedy. Healing lets you become a beacon for someone else's renewal. This process cannot be rushed or forced. Healing happens slowly, gracefully, organically, a process forged by patience, compassion, understanding, and deep care for oneself. Healing happens when we let ourselves rest, when we let ourselves grow, when we let ourselves become more. Some people remain stranded in their struggles, thinking there's no way forward. But healing shows us the path forward. Healing shows us we can redeem our stories, we can transform our greatest disappointments into something purposeful, something powerful, something that resonates far beyond ourselves. When you heal, you make peace with your past. You appreciate its role in your transformation, but you no longer let it dictate your future. Healing lets you move forward without regret, without resentment, without chains, without obstacles, with a newfound ability to appreciate all that's still to come. This renewal lets you appreciate relationships, friendships, and love in a way you hadn't before. Because you're no longer trying to fill a void. Instead, you're growing from a place of peace. Healing lets you appreciate connection without needing it to complete you. Healing lets you appreciate yourself for who you truly are. Some people think healing means weakness, a compromise, a submission, but healing is a profound affirmation of your own strength. Healing is choosing peace over chaos. Healing is choosing renewal over resentment. Healing is choosing compassion over judgment. Healing is choosing understanding over blame. When you realize healing is not the end but a new beginning, you enable yourself to grow in ways you hadn't previously believed possible. Healing lets you become more, become wiser, become greater. Healing lets you illuminate the path forward for yourself and for those you care about. This process cannot be forced or rushed. Healing evolves naturally, gracefully, much like a flower blooming after a thunderous storm. When you trust in healing, you realize there's a future filled with peace, renewal, happiness, compassion, understanding, and immense possibilities. Because healing lets you become the person you truly are, the person you were meant to be, a person forged by struggles, a person made strong by renewal, a person made whole by healing. This is your healing. This is your renewal. This is your peace. This is your happiness. This is your transformation. This is your future. A future forged by healing. A future made possible by honoring your struggles. A future filled with renewal, peace, compassion, understanding, happiness, and transformation. At the end of the day, when life breaks you, it doesn't mean it has ended your story. It means it has given you a chance to rewrite it with greater courage, deeper compassion, and stronger faith. The cracks in your soul are not signs of weakness, they are openings through which your light shines brighter than ever. And in these moments of breaking, you discover what you're truly made of, not just flesh and bone, but resilience, grace, and unshakable purpose. Your pain is not the end, it's the beginning of your transformation. The very struggles that try to bury you become the soil in which your strength grows. The disappointments that try to silence you become the melodies that inspire others to rise. And the moments that shattered you into pieces become the mosaic that tells the most beautiful, powerful, and meaningful story of your life. So, when life breaks, you let it break the chains that held you back. Let it break the fears that kept you small. Let it break the walls that stopped you from loving yourself completely. And then, rise. Rise with all the grace, courage, and hope you have within. Because when life breaks you, it is also offering you the chance to become whole in a way you never imagined before, a way that fills the world with your light.